was 5 o'clock for not deliberately, I just couldn't sleep, but making little like star decorations and stuff, following origami YouTube tutorials. There's this wonderful one where like every time he does a next step, he rings a little bell so that if you're looking down, you like know that something's changing. It's so good.
That's really good. Actually, let these people in. It's on the hour. I'm just going to record it. I don't think we can live stream it. So.
All right.
Hi. Hello. How's it going?
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hi.
Okay.
Mike, you were just saying you don't know how to pronounce my name. I've been worried that, is it Deepika?
It's Deepika. Stress on the first syllable. I like
stress on the first syllable. Yeah. I was thinking, me and Deepika know each other from Instagram, and I was like, oh, I hope she comes, but I don't know how to pronounce her name. Hello.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Okay. Well, let's just jump straight into it. I think, because sure, why not, right? So, if this is your first time, your first time, we have these every single month. I'm Tim, and Mike is the other person who kind of runs the ELT workshop with me. And yeah, it's just kind of the idea behind these sessions is really just we always say it's like our dream staff room or something like that. It's just a bunch of people we like hanging out on Zoom once a month and maybe having a chat about teaching. But if we don't, it doesn't really matter too much. I don't know. It's because it's almost Christmas. I think. I don't know. Rhiannon was kind of saying, "Oh well, it might have something to do with teaching." But,
Maybe.
The way these sessions go down is we will have we're going to play a little game called workshopping. I don't feel like, oh my goodness, you're going to make me play a game, and it's Ellen said it's like 5 a.m. or something over there. So you're going to make me play a game at 5 a.m. or anything like that. It's nothing like that. It's just. Mike, me, and Rhiannon, our guest, are going to play a little game. It's going to be incredibly embarrassing for all of us, so you guys can just sit back and enjoy that. And then, yeah, we have the same question every month, which is just what's going on with you these days. And we will just ask Rhiannon what is going on with her these days. She'll have a little chat, 5-10 minutes. And yeah, and then we'll have a discussion based on that. So, yeah, so that's how things are going to go. So, Mike, would you like to introduce your creation of workshopping?
Okay, since this is the ELT workshop as kind of a warmer sort of something, the idea is that we have a little challenge and then we kind of workshop our ideas, which is give feedback, get feedback, and play around. And it's not really a competition, but it can take that flavor a little bit. And the workshopping topic this month is ELT/Christmas puns. So puns that are related to Christmas and ELT, or generally the holiday season and English language teaching. I think that's my intro to the workshop.
That's a perfect intro, yeah, short and sweet.
Perfect.
So,
maybe our guest can go first.
That sounds good, yeah.
That sounds good because I requested desperately. I want to go first. I have one good one and I need to do it. This one, I should say, is not mine. It's from a good friend, but it combines both a very typical Christmas song with everybody's favorite warmer activity, or I've run out of things to do and I've got 20 minutes left in the class. Why not get all of my students to do it again with everybody else activity? And that is Jingle Bells, Mingle Bells, Mingle. I'm so happy with that one. Either of you.
I like it. I thought it was going to be Deck the Halls with running dictations.
That works too. I'll take that.
That was lovely. That was your friend's suggestion, just offhand, just to clarify.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, she was just like, do you mean something like this? So I was like, yes, more please, exactly like that. She didn't give me.
Well, you're going against the pros here, so you needed to be ready.
So just to be clear to everyone, that was the good one. So
that was the good one. It is so downhill from here.
Okay, Mike, what have you got?
Well, I know that some people here are from North America. At least one person is from the States. I'm not sure. I don't want to get too political, but only in the last few years have we been allowed to say Merry Christmas again. Apparently, we weren't allowed to say that before, but our soon-to-be former president, I'm being sarcastic, of course, our soon-to-be former president allowed people to say Merry Christmas. It used to be people were saying Happy Holidays because there's a lot of different holidays, but some people.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, exactly. But now we're allowed to say Merry Christmas again. But I think it's also nice to say Happy Holidays as well to account for all the other holidays. In ELT, I want to say Happy Adrian Holidays. I'm not sure if he's so famous to everybody, but Adrian Holiday, I'm taking a little bit from his Wikipedia page here. He talks a lot about nativity speakerism as a pervasive ideology within ELT, characterized by the belief that the nativity speaker teachers represent Christian and Western values from which miraculously spring the ideals of English language and English language teaching methodology. So there were 2 puns there, and it's your turn, Tim.
I'm still in so much pain. I don't know if I can get this one out.
I'm impressed. I was looking at native speaker for ages and I just didn't see nativity. How did I not see that? I got festive speaker, which doesn't really work.
Festive speaker.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with that. I think this is one we mentioned as kind of an example when we were first discussing this, and I'm very surprised that I went third and I still managed to get away with it. So I guess you guys all know the Charles Dickens book, A Christmas Carol, where Mr. Scrooge meets 3 ghosts. He meets the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and perhaps scariest of all, the ghost of Christmas future, perfect, continuous. Mike looks so disappointed.
Well, I'm not gonna roast you for it.
Roast myself with that one. Okay.
Maybe my friend Michael Chestnut would roast you for it.
On an open fire.
On an open fire. I think it's back to you, Rhiannon.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right. For the next one, I feel like I have to explain my methodology for creating these puns.
Great start.
Yeah. My brain just doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't do puns. It doesn't at all. I get angry with them. I don't understand them. They just do not work. So what I got was, I think it's Scott Thornbury, that's in the other room, the A to Z of ELT. So I had the A to Z of ELT in front of me. And then on my laptop, I had like a primary school Christmas word search with the list of Christmas words. And I just went through looking for any words which had a similar sound. My girlfriend was trying to help me because she is quite good at puns. And she sat down enthusiastically and was like, I have no idea what you're doing. You're ruining the fun of it all. I'm going to leave. Anyway, so the next one, I was looking for any word which ended in a kind of sound. That was my whole criteria. So I'm going to give you 5 different versions, none of which worked very well.
And workshopping.
It's not so much more effort than me. Okay.
Okay, all right. So I've got Phonics Navidad. Hey, it's not bad. Other option, thank you. Another option, Prefix Navidad. Another option, Discourse Navidad.
Oh,
It goes on like this.
Oh.
Lexis Navidad and Corpus Navidad.
Oh, wow, I'm stuck on the first one because it was really jumped out to me. Matthew says all of it. Anybody else want to type in so we can have a clear,
anything with an S on the end will work. Thanks, Matthew.
I need to share my methodology first. See, it paid off. It paid off.
Hey, do your homework.
I really wished I brought my copy of that book to Spain this week, because I was like, that would be the ideal resource for this game. You got to hit the books, you know. So okay.
I was worried about this one getting stolen. Maybe it's not as trite as Tim's, but still, I thought it was a little bit. You know, people don't. It became kind of out of fashion there with the sentence diagrams. I was thinking Christmas tree diagrams instead of sentence tree diagrams.
Sure.
Sure.
It's niche.
Sure.
There was lots of tree options, I think. I hope I'm not stealing from you guys by saying we could have like Christmas tree BLT.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. And then I, again, just went through the book looking for tree words. So I got co-treason, and then EL tree. Sorry if I'm just like, I've got so many here.
You're actually the champion by far.
Give this show to Rhiannon, I think. Okay. My next one is, would you like the really terrible one now, or shall I save that for the end?
Now.
Now? Okay, fine, right, so.
No, we can't delay gratification. We're like kids.
You gotta do it. Okay, right, so.
For the presents.
So kind of the theory of how language is acquired is often called second language SLA, second language acquisition, or SLA short. So at this festive time of year, you might be dashing through the hot snow on a one-horse open SLA.
That one's really good.
I want to not like it, but I like it.
It's really good. I love it.
Really, I'm going against my instincts, my inner feelings, but I like it. I have to like it. Santa language acquisition. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. Okay. It's a deep cut. All right, Rhiannon.
Okay, I have quite a few, all of which are very, very embarrassing. But there's one that involves a little bit more singing, so I'll do that one. And that's teacher talking time, mistletoe and wine.
Encore! That's my only workshopping feedback, is just encore. Let's have more of it.
This topic is going well. I see Jane typed in. There's also the silent night approach.
Lovely.
Matthew +1.
Oh, yeah, I have that. That's one of my offcuts that didn't quite make it. But actually, maybe it'd be. I was just because I really didn't want to sing before like 7 p.m. That doesn't really happen till night time. So yeah. Maybe if you were all drinking mulled wine, I could sing, but I don't think that's happening right now. Okay.
We're getting a lot of help from Santa's helpers here in the ELT workshop. That's a pun. No. I think I'm done.
It's on my list. Don't worry, Mike.
Unless I want to talk about George Yuletide with another name coming back from the greatest hits. I'm not sure. Tim, you're up.
No, you're up.
I just gave two, George Yuletide and ELT.
Oh, sorry. I thought those were just.
Santa's workshop.
I thought they were little extras you were giving us for free.
Oh no, those were.
Okay.
that was it.
Oh, okay. Two. I have to pick one. Okay. So I've always tried to do at least one little political one in here. So for the last one, the ELT related Christmas thing is we have 3 wise old native speaker men on a panel at a Tesla conference.
Oh, another white Christmas.
Okay.
I feel like that was very successful. And I like to think slightly more relatable than the rap one last time. I was just sat going like, I have no idea what you're talking about the whole time.
There needs some Wikipedia help with that.
Yeah. The other one I really wanted to share was English as a lingua franca on the shelf. Because that often gets it. Okay.
Wow, that was considered not good enough after the other ones.
Oh, I'm thinking if I had any other ones. Oh God, I tried really hard to get Gnome Chomsky in with like Gnome Clawsky and then Snowman Chomsky. Should have gone with that one, clearly.
I think the admission that it's not the choice makes it even better. It's like, oh, there's a tinge of regret here. This is so bad. So
Oh, what could
Could have won.
If anyone has,
Oh,
Gnome Chomsky. Yeah, my girlfriend came up with that one, but I don't feel like gnomes are Christmassy. Are they Christmassy? Gnomes? I mean, maybe we can read them. Why not?
Like that. Don't they have Christmas gnomes? I don't know. And, if anyone has any of these, Gnome Chomsky. Oh my goodness. If anyone has any of these they want to share in the chat, please do drop some. I don't know. I feel like I'm definitely warmed up. I don't have any idea about you guys, but that's a start anyway.
It is my job to introduce the game. I can also conclude the game. Thus conclude the game of workshop. Thank you for all the contributions. But in the chat, more sounds great too.
Yes. Okay, and so I think we get to the part of the show. We're going to ask Rhiannon what's going on with you these days.
Yeah, cool. All right. So obviously it's like the end of the year, so I've kind of been thinking about this long before Tim asked if I wanted to talk about it. That kind of December, like, what am I doing with my life? What's 2020 doing? Blah, blah, blah. But I can't actually remember any of those things that I thought. So I was quickly making notes this morning being like, what am I doing? I have no idea. Background, I was working for a private language school in Edinburgh, and then everything happened. And I was made redundant. They've closed down, which initially, because we found out probably a couple of weeks before COVID really hit the UK, because we were affected by the Spanish and Italian markets quite a lot. Initially it was like, oh, fantastic, because they paid for my Delta. So I was like tied in until August, which would have missed the summer. And I was like, oh, it'll be great because I can go to another language school, or I could go into EAP, or like I can do a summit. Like, I was like, there are so many opportunities. And then obviously the rest of the world crashed. And I was like, oh, there's no opportunities. So I was lucky to be on furlough for a little bit. They kept me on until August on furlough, which was better than nothing. And then the comments are distracting, but anyway. But I decided to go self-employed. I had a couple of contacts with students that I'd worked with in the past, just kind of, 1 or 2 evenings a week. So I got in touch with them, got in touch with some other old students, put some stuff out on Facebook, and got a couple of people sort of just on a one-to-one online basis. I'd initially planned, and I would still like to do this, but it isn't taking off in the way that I'd like it to. I want to do like group discussion courses. So small 2 to 5 people working online, a different topic each week. I find some fun, interesting materials online. They go off and study it, come up with some comments and questions. We chat about it for an hour. I give them some feedback, like after the class, written feedback. I think that is really, really fun. Students apparently don't agree. They're not coming, which is unfair because I really want to do it. I've had one of the good things, my upper intermediate discussion course finished yesterday, but had been going since July. So that was a good group that I managed to kind of maintain. But my advanced group fell and then started and fell and then started. So it's stressing me out every time that I come to like invoice somebody again, being like, are you going to continue? Because if you don't continue, I have to get rid of the other student. And that I'm actually kind of liking the less pressure of one-to-one classes, because if they quit, they quit, and that's just them, and it doesn't affect any other student. So the big changes this year have been, I've gone from employed to fully self-employed. I was already self-employed from a tax perspective because I was freelancing at another school previously, but I'm now fully self-employed. Puts me in a lovely little, that 3 million in the UK who were not self-employed sufficiently to get self-employed benefits from like furlough stuff from the government. So that's fun. But yes, I'm fully self-employed. I've gone primarily from teaching groups. I was working in a language school, not a big, busy one, but generally have groups of kind of 3, 4, 5, 6 students. I've gone from that to primarily one-to-one. I've gone from exclusively offline to exclusively online, which is really fun because I thought I would hate it and I actually love it. I think it's really, really cool. I never ever want to go into a classroom ever again. I well, certainly not in the short term. I feel no need for it. I've also gone from like working in a team, which was like not the world's best team, but a team that I had worked with for coming on 5 years. I had a manager I really got on with, and we were kind of, you know, making changes to the way the school was being run, and we were all kind of working together. And it also meant that like if a student didn't get on with me, they had another teacher with a different style kind of after the 10:30 break, which kind of meant that a lot of the pressure was off, and now all the pressure is on. They have to like me and my classes or they leave, which is fine, but a different kind of dynamic. And I've also gone from having what was a regular timetable. I worked from 9 o'clock till 3 o'clock, and then in the evenings twice a week for 5 years, to absolute chaos. I had a difficult time in the summer where I had not many classes, and like my Thursday was really busy for some reason, but I had like almost nothing on the other days, and kind of building any momentum when you've got one class in the afternoon on a Monday is just, I personally found it really, really hard. That's changing slightly. So I've kind of still got a really calm Tuesday, which is nice because I go for a walk to the beach and have a coffee. But on the other days, I've got a little bit more going on. But another change is that I've gone from 5 days to 4 days. I'm very, very strict about my Friday. I'm not working Fridays. It's there as a kind of overflow day if I don't get things done, or if a student needs to rearrange, or, you know, if there's a problem. But as a general rule, I'm not booking anything in for a Friday, which is great. So at the moment, I'm making Christmas decorations and painting my bedroom. So I'm not really thinking about work for the past like week or so. But at the moment, I am teaching primarily one-to-ones, and I'm trying to think about how to scale that up, because when you're teaching exclusively one-to-one students, unless they're paying £50 an hour, which I would love, but they're not, there are only so many hours in the week, especially if you include preparation time and stuff. So I'm never gonna make my millions that way. And I'm in the really lucky position that my partner has a job, and my parents text me every week being like, are you okay? Do you need money? Which is an incredible position to be in. But I would like to earn a little bit more of my own money. That would be nice. So trying to think of a way to make it scalable. I've been trying to think of some kind of subscription thing. So I think the discussion course particularly could work asynchronously, with comments being like the discussion being perhaps in more of a forum setup. And if I had enough subscribers, I could even offer like a 1 hour discussion class, kind of just pop in. There isn't really that much feedback, but we can have a chat about whatever. So that's an option, because in theory, it wouldn't matter if I had 10 subscribers or 100 subscribers, the workload would be the same. So it would be scalable, which is what I really need if I'm thinking kind of long-term business. Or really getting the groups off the ground. Because if I've got 5 people paying £15 for the class, then obviously that adds up a lot quicker than one person paying 20 or 25. I'm just looking at my notes. Some of the good things, as I mentioned, the B2 discussion course that has run since July. I'm happy with that. That went well. People are happy and coming back, and every month I go like, do you want to continue? And they go, yeah, of course. And I'm like, oh, okay, good, great, that's fantastic. I also did something a bit different at the end of November. A student got in touch with me. She had taken her IELTS in, I think, the end of October, and you know, that really speedy turnaround with the IELTS results. And she'd gotten a 6 in her writing, and to get her nursing qualification or certificate in the UK, she needed a 6.5. Everything else was fine. She wasn't worried about the exam. She just needed to get up that half mark. And she was like, what can you do in 3 weeks? I was like, okay, great. And I put together a writing course which involved almost no classes. So we had little tutorials twice a week, 20 minutes. But the majority of the course was her writing and me giving feedback. And for the first time, I was actually charging for the feedback time. And I was saying, it's going to take me about an hour to give you really good feedback on your writing, and also come up with like suggestions for how to improve and come up with, you know, like, you're having an issue here, let's look at this structure, and come up with the, you know, tutorial stuff. And it was amazing being paid for that, because I actually gave it. Whereas normally you're like, oh my God, I've been marking this thing for 20 minutes. I can't believe it. You know, I've got 3 more to mark. This was actually like, yeah, you've paid for my time. I'm going to get myself a cup of tea and I'm going to sit down and focus on your writing for an hour. And she gets her marks in the next few days. So it might have been an absolute disaster, but I don't think it was. I saw her make like really good progress in 3 weeks, particularly on like the structure sort of side of things. So I'm really proud of that. And I think that is something that I could kind of sell more, because I think there are students who want it, and students who want, you know, I would need to improve my exam writing, but then they think they want a class. And actually, I don't think a class is necessarily the right thing for that. And then can now say, well, I did this thing with another student and it worked, so I can sell that. And thank you to everybody who liked it on Twitter. I also made £1,000 in a month, which already has kind of calculated back down again because I haven't been paid recently. But there was a period of 30 days where I took in £1,000, and I'm super happy about that. And I think that's kind of it for now. Mike and Tim, if you want to unmute yourselves and chat to me.
Let's just let it be silent for 20 seconds. As you pour your heart out and tell us all about your year. Let's just let that simmer.
Okay, so did you have a list of questions you want people to... Oh, we're going to ask if anyone has any questions for Rhiannon first. Sorry, let's do that. So has anyone got any questions or follow-ups on any of that?
Just thinking about the feedback that you said, Rhiannon, about like when you have a one-to-one, obviously, I guess when you have a one-to-one student, if you said that, you know, if they don't really like the style or whatever, they may just say, do you know what, it's not for me. And obviously that can be very, you know, impactful, obviously, on your whole income. I was just wondering how you manage that, or do you get like sort of informal feedback from them throughout the course, or do you just say, okay, not for me, I totally get it? It must be, that is hard to take, I guess, on a personal level, but also financially as well, you know, as just to make ends meet. That was one of the things that I thought of.
Yeah, definitely. So I've started, that's actually something I meant to mention, I started in the last 3 or 4 months, starting with like a free 15-minute consultation. Okay. And that allows me to kind of, show my face before asking a stranger for money, which makes me feel much better about it. But also gives me a chance to kind of explain what I think the course is going to look like. And we can normally tell in that 15 minutes if it's going to work or not. And they haven't paid for it. So if I'm giving them bad news, as in, no, I'm not going to teach you grammar for an hour every week, sorry, then that's kind of no obligation and we can just leave it there. And then every couple of weeks, let's say 4 or 5 weeks, I'll usually be like, how's it going? Anything you want to change? Okay. And I'm quite open with my students about that. So people have left, but at least as far as they've told me, it hasn't, and from what I've gathered, it hasn't been because they've been unhappy. It's been because their job has started up, or their job has like they've lost their job. It's been a lot of, exactly, and a lot of COVID circumstances this year, which has meant it's quite irregular. Regarding finance, in September, I changed my kind of payment system so that I'm now getting paid through my website, which is great and official and lovely, and people can pay by card, and it doesn't mean I'm like giving them my bank details and stuff, or PayPal, which they keep doing, and it's really annoying, but anyway. And that means that I get paid like once a month through my bank, through the website rather. So even though, yes, if people leave and I don't get paid, that does affect me. It sort of all gets squished into one big lump sum, medium, small lump sum that kind of I'm in a bit more control of. So I'm not kind of relying on one payment to get me through the next week or anything like that, which doesn't, I mean, it still obviously affects me, but it gets cushioned a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
So my question kind of on the business side of things was, obviously this year is exceptional and different in many ways, but what kind of learning curve did you have? What sort of things did you learn on the business side that you would impart to people who would be in a similar situation? If there's anything that comes to mind.
Very good question. It's one of those things, and I have it whenever I learn anything, where by the time I've learned it, it takes me so long to learn it that I forget that I ever didn't know it. It's like, oh my gosh, at the Delta, like after the Delta, and people are like, so what, what have you learned? I'm like, I've no idea. I've surely always believed these wonderful things. For me, the big thing was like embracing the tech. So for like a huge change was getting paid online, and it is in my notes, but I forgot to say it. Getting paid online has really changed the way that I see myself as a business. I feel official. I have a lovely invoice and it has my logo at the top, and they can click a link and it'll take them to the payment section. And yes, I pay Wix, 2% of whatever, but that kind of made me feel much more comfortable taking bigger sums of money as well. So actually being, and then the next step would just be like, know what you're worth, know what you're willing to do it for, and start however much higher than that, and don't go lower. And I'm like, I've probably, as many students as I've gained this year, I have not lost, but not gained as many because they've said it's too expensive, and I've gone, sorry. That's my price. So that would maybe be some business advice. But I'll let you know in another year when I'm a millionaire.
Okay, that's an important question.
Okay.
I have a comment about your group idea, Rhiannon, if I may. Yes. You said that you wanted to expand to groups because private students or private teaching is, you want to scale. And students seem to be resistant to the idea. If you can go on Facebook and Instagram and sort of scope out your students or your audience and see what the resistance is, it's usually something like, I don't get enough of the teacher if there are other students around.
Yeah.
And if you can dispel that notion by saying, if you're the only person with the teacher, you're only talking to the teacher and you don't get enough practice talking to other English learners. And if you can sort of identify each of these, resistances and dispel them one at a time, do a little post here, do a little sort of live there. And if you can do that and keep saying that I do groups as if you already are. Yeah. I think then, I think people might slowly start warming up to the idea.
Definitely. I think even students who I have had in groups say exactly that kind of thing, being like, I'd really like to talk to you, Rhiannon, about private lessons because I'd like more of your attention. And I'm like, there are 3 of you and you're on my screen. Like, how much more attention do you want? I'm absolutely fine paying you attention.
Exactly.
The lessons are recorded. If I missed anything, I'll go back. Mm-hmm. But yeah, another issue I've had is just because I'm not inundated, it's like, okay, I have 3 people interested in groups, great, but actually they're slightly different levels and they're all available at different times. So that's the kind of the logistics of a group is slightly more difficult as well. But yeah, the kind of...
If you had a bigger pool of students who were interested, then you might
rolling in it. Yeah. That's the future. There's a question from Simon. Can I read it myself, or would one of the hosts like to read it? Wonder if people in your situation could set up an off-the-shelf limited company. Oh my gosh. Employ yourself in it and so qualify for future furloughs that way. Oh, Simon, you're going to have to explain that to me. An off-the-shelf limited... I mean, probably. I don't know the... Matthew. Serious we're talking about. I don't know if Simon's still here or if he's wandered off. He's muted. Just random thoughts. You can normally set up a company quite cheaply. I mean, I'll look into it. Why not? But yeah, it just felt, I feel like
paperwork. So I don't know. You kind of
it just all feels like, ooh, what if I tick the wrong box and then they charge me loads of tax or something? It just scares me. Like filling in my tax return has only on its like 5th year got less terrifying. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think we're going to split everyone up into breakout rooms. Rhiannon, I've made you co-host, so you should be able to jump back and forth between the rooms. So you can.
Oh, how exciting! Wonderful. I do have 2 questions, but I'm just going to scribble them down, so I'm focusing for 2 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Ideal. So yeah, so we will split everyone up into breakout rooms in a second, and then yeah, we'll just have a discussion, and you know, it's one of those like just let it last as long as it lasts, so that everyone can go and enjoy the rest of their day and do whatever they have to do, I guess. So yeah, so we've got question 1: What can you do now that you didn't know you could do at the beginning of 2020? What are you hoping to take from your 2020 life into your future? Goodness.
Sorry, it was my kind of reflections. Trying to think of all the positives. Like, because we were thrust into so many situations, and you know what? Most of us survived. And we can do stuff now that we couldn't do in January, or didn't think we could do, or never thought we would be able to do. 2 is a trick question. No, you're going to take your Fridays.